welcome to Eclipse Games, podcast where we bring you the latest in gaming news, indie reviews, and everything else under the sun. My name is Kendall, and I'm here with my co-host,
Tony, aka a pimp named Big Back.
All right, yeah, okay. That's I'm not mad at that. As I get older, I relate to that a lot more as time passes. That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm not mad. But the homage to the Boondocks is appropriate for this episode because we're gonna talk about a real,
Nigga
moment. I was gonna give it a little more time into the video, but
nah. Let's just get right to it.
Let me say we taking another opportunity to do an off-topic episode. I'm sure you noticed by the thumbnail. We are gonna jump into this beef that's going on right now. The Kendrick Lamar responses have landed, so we ready to dive into it. And I know I ain't even trying to keep my man Tony on the leash right now. Just give us your overall thoughts, bro.
You know what's wild is when we talked about doing this episode, we talked about doing it 2 days ago.
Yep.
And there was just a response.
Yep. We were going to talk about Euphoria.
Just a response, and that was it. And that shit was, Kendrick hates this man.
Yeah, he was ready for this.
And the craziest part is he very clearly gives him some level of respect musically. He's like, I do the dance shit. We're like, I fuck with that.
Yeah.
But as far as who you are as a man and a human being, I fucking hate you.
And I mean, listen, he's made it very clear why. Like he's spoken his piece for sure. It's funny because I had a moment too when this joint dropped. When the second disc dropped, 616 in LA. I was actually watching a reaction to the first disc. I was finally watching a Kai Cenat reaction to the disc. I was just like, I want to see what everybody's thoughts were and everything. And while I'm watching that, I noticed on Twitter before all this shit, because this man dropped his joint on Instagram exclusively,
which is funny for multiple reasons.
Yes, the thing about this battle, and I want to start off by saying this: these are two artists that love the art of subtlety. Like, if you can't say nothing else for these dudes, they just do it in very different ways. It's different sides of being subtle about your shit. Like, Kendrick is gonna hint at things, you know what I mean? Like, he's being very direct here, and that's what you got to do during a beef. But this is why you get people, poster boards on the wall trying to pick apart every line and oh yeah, he meant this by this. Like, the title of 616 in LA is gonna cause people to go mad, bro.
I've seen 300 different ideas about what that 616 is referring to, and it's people are going nuts with it. And the weird thing is that Kendrick kind of lends himself to that, if for no reason other than the damn album itself, because we were all going, he's going to do a double album. No, motherfucker, I'm just going to reverse it.
Yep.
And it kind of still was a double album, but he does that type of shit, so it's hard not to dig into it.
Like, that's a good example of a conspiracy theory about this nigga's music that turned out to be true. Like, it might not have been called Nation or whatever the fuck, that we thought it might be called.
That was the thing.
I could fuck with that. I wish it was, but
yeah, that would have been fire.
But the fact that you can reverse the album and get a different story, a different perspective on the shit, is the type of shit Kendrick Lamar does. It's like a Lupe situation. Lupe actually is that crazy with the punchlines and metaphors and triple, double, quadruple entendres. Like, you can play with it if you want to, you know what I mean? And with that being said, I want to make sure that we get a moment in, because we did have a reaction to Drake's disc when it happened. Like, it was at the end of was it the last episode, the N64 episode? It might have been one of the last two. Yeah, one of the last two episodes we did stop and kind of talk about that shit. But so Drake's response was solid. I like the first response. I don't know if we dug into TaylorMade or whatever, the AI shit.
Dude, once I realized it was AI shit, I turned it off. I ain't need to hear nothing else. I was not interested in what he had to do with that. I just didn't care.
Yeah,
I thought Push-Ups was it was solid.
Yeah, it was fun.
But he wasn't. It was kind of like a takeover thing. Jay didn't he didn't go at Nas exclusively. It was Nas, and there was a little bit of Prodigy, mostly a Prodigy.
Right. And for this that had to go at a bunch of, honestly, it was a lot of people dissing this man at one time. I respect the fact that he managed to tap into so many different topics and people that had smoke, but it didn't, knock anybody out. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't
Yeah,
that
like
that
I
gut
mean,
punch.
he basically said Kendrick got small feet, but Kendrick's 5'2". Of course he does. Like, you know what I mean? It's just
Right.
it really, it ain't really do
Yeah.
nothing. And then he made the mistake of mentioning the man's wife's name, and then we got Euphoria,
Yeah.
which is just
Yeah.
6 minutes of I hate everything that you stand for, everything that constitutes you as a human being. I can't fucking
It's
stand it.
incredible. Like
But you
this systemic breakdown of exactly what his problem with Drake is crazy.
and like the wild shit is that both songs, Push Ups and Euphoria, were completely and totally representative of the two people because Kendrick's shit sounded like a Kendrick song. Like,
Right.
you gonna have a soul sample in there, he gonna do his kind of weird voices and shit.
Yep.
And Drake shit still sounded like he wanted you to play it in the club. Like it had that bounce to it. And I'm like, that's
Yep.
the type of
You
shit that
want
I like. I don't need that in my diss track. You know what I
I
mean?
feel
Like
that.
I know that's his thing and that's his
He
sound. So it's like,
Drake wants Kendrick to be going through the city and people bumping this out of every car. You know what I mean? Like, because this is what the radio is playing right now.
the ironic shit is it actually turned out Euphoria was that track.
Yeah, yeah,
That
you get
shit
that
was
down
on
on the
Inside the
finals.
NBA.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's honestly, it's always been like that. Like, Drake is the guy. He's the club guy. Like, no matter what he puts out, it's going to get bumped in the club. It's going to have some bounce to it. Like, he can do and the funny thing is, the title of this one, 616 in LA, being an allusion to Drake's most lyrical songs. Like, every one of his
Man,
most barred up songs is like one of those records. I really feel like he potentially could have been planning to call this something similar, like his response, which
oh
is
yeah,
is
that
wild.
almost definitely.
Yeah,
But
yeah. So,
he went for the playbook first, and now
yep.
it's like
Taylor Made was the opportunity to really rap. Like if Drake had just come on that beat, really spitting, like I like that beat. If you just do the ironic West Coast thing that way, he pushed it too far with the AI shit.
like
It was a calculated move, but it's a good example of the issues that I feel like people have, which is that you'll really go low to hurt a motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean? Like if from beyond the I stole your girl, it's the dissing for real. I'm glad that got called out on Euphoria. I'm not gonna lie, because there's always little stuff that I don't rock with when it comes to that type of.
the wild thing is that's not the first time. Like Push did the same thing when he was going at Ye. Like, no, stop. Give
Yeah,
that to me.
right,
Talk to
right,
me.
exactly. Like
And
I'm actually in this. You know what I mean? Pusha T went at 40, which you can have your whole conversation about that, especially coming after what Drake has said. But
I
at least
mean,
40 produced some of the songs. Like you know what I mean?
I the thing with 40 to me was like after you mentioned the man's wife, everybody else is fair game.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah,
talking
and
about a southern nigga, man. Southern niggas don't play about their old lady.
yeah, I get it. I do get it. I mean, I feel like, you know, that's a whole different convo, you know what I mean, about that eye for eye situation. But it's beef and it's really war, and you can't really have too many hurt feelings in this because people won't talk how they need to talk to about to whatever they can get their hands on. Like Kendrick said, he's not digging for info. This is a dude that's going off of his
1K
pure
trying to
hatred.
get
Yeah.
shit. That nigga,
Like
pure hatred is fueling these tracks.
it's
Pure hatred and
crazy.
whatever he already knows.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
that's it. Like
And
I was so excited. Like when I heard Euphoria, I was so excited because one, we getting like no matter how I feel about Drake, and it's very well known how I feel about Drake.
right,
You
right.
have the two top dudes in rap going at
Hmm.
each other. We fucking need that. Like we ain't
And
had
it's
that since
crazy.
Jay and Nas,
I
really.
keep I keep comparing this to that because like Jay and Nas got blown up for the same exact reasons this gets blown up because these dudes represent things. Like Drake is not the only singing ass nigga in the game. Like you know what I mean? Like this is not about being an R&B dude or a mixed dude. Like nobody throws these allegations at
Dog.
Cole or like anything like that. It's about we know for a fact. Like shout out to Drake. First of all, I like Drake's music. I think Drake makes. So I've said I think Drake's a pretty good rapper. Like but there's things that we know to be true that should be addressed. Like I want this dude to be a solid member of this rap thing. Like I want you to be I want you to be the guy that came in rapping with Fonte and like Big Pooh and shit. Like, you know what I mean? That's like who you were when you started this shit. But we know for a fact Drake puts on different accents depending on what's popping. Like that's something that we see happening. We know Drake jumps on the track with whoever's popping. Like we know these things, like these little allegations that get made about him being like a person that's trying to fit in. You know, we know Drake started talking that gun shit. It's very well publicized. Everybody's put the
Wayne told
video
that nigga
up.
keep it Canadian.
Everybody's put that video up of the Keep a Canadian interview where he's like, don't rap about guns, don't do what I'm doing, rap about girls, rap about whatever. You know what I mean? Do your thing. But he's tied into this shit. So he, you know, I mean, he started right around the Common beef, I feel like, which is the most ironic shit. But I feel like that's right around
Right.
the time when Drake started rapping, you know, he started doing the little point the gun at the camera shit, you know what I mean? And started to get a little big for, you know, I just feel like that's happened. Like that's facts. So to have it finally called out is therapeutic for some people. If you don't understand why people are so like anti-Drake, like why I feel like he has so many haters, because I'm not a hater of Drake, but I do see the problems with dude's persona. And it is good to have somebody having that combo. Like defend it. Tell us what's up with you or be caught up. You know, that's what it's gonna be.
That's the thing. Is like we know he a cosplay rapper.
Right.
It like that's just kind of what it is. Um, because like that's I mean he be cosplaying black. Like the people that's making it up like Kendrick talking about him being half black and half like no, he's saying that man is black when it's convenient for him.
Yeah, and I mean
Like
we know that.
that's the problem. And like you said, you know you want Drake to be like really a part of this thing. The other thing is Drake does too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he really wants the respect of his peers. He don't fucking have it. Everybody thinks he's a fuck nigga.
It
Everybody.
would appear so, man. Like this is crazy, actually. And just the fact that you start to talk about there's a lot of people ganging up on Drake. You know what I mean? I agree to some degree. Like this is crazy how they did it. They probably shouldn't have did it like this. Like y'all are jumping this man. And, like don't put out a compilation fuck Drake album, my nigga. Like a double
That's
disc, bro.
basically yeah, that's basically what it was.
That's crazy, nasty ass work, bro. I'm sorry, but like what did this nigga do to make them that mad? You know what I mean? Like what
Nigga.
but again,
But
you
here's
see
the
all the
thing.
things I just said. Like,
And because I do want to kind of spend some time on each track, but I want
yeah,
to jump to 616 because I think there was a very, very important piece in there where Kendrick was like, yo, you got 100 people on your payroll. 20 of them want you dead. One of them's next to you.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
fucking insane.
Damning, bro. Like, I mean, if and the fact that I don't feel like that would just get thrown out there out of nowhere. Like again, we in beef. Like niggas talking about not having
Yeah, niggas
classics.
talk
Like,
all
and
niggas talk all
yeah,
kinds of shit. I
but
mean, like I
you
can
know,
be objective about Drake from the standpoint of like if he dropped like niggas is talking about he might drop some shit tonight because all he doing is running the Instagram like a little bitch, which is what makes 616 funny because it's like, yo, I want you to
uh,
rap to me. I'm gonna have to come to you where you at then. So he
you,
dropped the shit on Instagram.
yeah, that
But
shit was amazing. Like,
yeah, that's what made it funny. But the way he's like, is when he really like, I like Duppy. I
right.
thought Duppy was really fucking good. Addy Don just blew him out the fucking water.
Right, it just was what it was. I want to see you
Uh,
bring out that in Kendrick.
yeah. So like
Yeah,
I could look at a Drake diss track and go, okay, he came with something. I can't
yeah.
look at his. I tried. I've tried. I promise you, I've tried. I've got an old laptop sitting next to me. I had a couple. I think I had Take Care and Nothing was the same on it, and I
Mm.
just like he just don't hit because of who he fucking is. I just can't do it.
I could put you onto some tracks you might be surprised by, but it's like, you know what I mean? I feel what you're saying, but with me, like I appreciate what Drake brings to the table and like the music that he makes and like the lane that he feels honestly created. Like he made this lane of like, you know, the not even if you want to talk about character and all that shit, like the melodic rap that he does, that's some shit it's a lot like Kid Cudi to me. Like you kind of brought in a style that I feel like a lot of people liked. That's where you get all the rap kids that listen to alternative music because they're looking for that EDM bounce or some shit. Like, and now Uzi's here to do it. He did that for like the R&B side of things or whatever. Kendrick did that in his own way. bringing the West Coast back to prominence in like the esoteric way that he does it. Like, you know what I mean? So I can appreciate Drake, and I think that Take Care is a classic. Like, I think that impact wise, that album is a classic album. Kendrick is on that fucking album. Kendrick has a song to himself on that shit, which is crazy.
I've heard people either go Take Care or Nothing Was the Same.
Yeah, Nothing Was the Same.
One of those two.
That album is one that I feel like I didn't appreciate when it came out. I do appreciate it more now, but I also don't think I think Take Care is the most definitive example of what Drake sounds like. Like that's Drake's music right there. Like, he got he got a couple moments where he's rapping his ass off. He got like moments where his flow is crazy. Like Lord knows is on that album. That's a Just Blaze produced Drake song. You know what I mean? That shit is crazy. But then he also, it's a lot to that. I think it's pretty well rounded out. But yeah, nah. I think he has some solid shit. Like I think fucking if you're reading this, It's Too Late might be the nigga best work for real. Like he's got some good shit. I just haven't heard much since then that I feel like I'll put up there. And you can make complaints about Kendrick. People didn't like Mr. Morale. I think Mr. Morale was solid as fuck. Like I think that was a very therapeutic and open and themed album. And if you
have a weird relationship with that album.
Interesting.
Because I don't listen to it often.
Right, me neither.
I don't hate it. The one song I absolutely I cannot, and you're shaking your head because is We Cry Together.
Yeah, we can't. Everybody collectively was like, "Wow, that was
we
crazy."
all just decided that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous.
But I get what it was. I get what it was.
I get what he was going for. It's just it sucked. It just did. But I don't hate that. Like Count Me Out is fucking incredible.
Mm-hmm. That's a classic.
Yeah, Count Me Out is incredible. Like it's a lot of songs on there that's dope. It's just I don't know, something about the way it flows just don't like.
So I think,
and it's heavier than fucking To Pimp a Butterfly, which is saying a lot.
That is saying because it's so personal, bro. And I think that's what the thing about We Cry Together. Because I don't think that song sucks. I think that it's unpleasant. I think that's art, bro. I think Kendrick is one of the few people that's making this shit art. It's unpleasant as fuck to listen to. Like it's like legit painful for some people. Traumatic.
It sounds like you live in a townhouse with thin walls and the neighbors next door. It's like, hey, can y'all chill out? Do I need to call police or something?
I've heard that song once, like most of us. Like I probably would never go back and run it
again.
Back,
It's like the Passion of the Christ. We all saw it once. Nobody's seen that again.
But it exists for a reason, and it exists to say something, and that shit is the purpose of art, and I appreciate that for that. And that whole album, like flow. I mean, Savior is incredible. I love that song, man. Like, there's fucking like moments on that joint that like I will not forget. And Savior has such a prominent message where you see the humility. Like that album, somebody was like, Kendrick dropped that album to put all his business out there, free beef, so nobody had any ammo on him. That's what that album was. He was like, yeah, I did this. I'm not this. You know what I mean? It is.
I mean, there's something to that. I mean, he's been wanting this beef forever, so that's not a crazy thought.
It's not.
That's not at all a crazy thought.
Yeah, and I just feel like much ado has been made about what these two dudes represent. Like Kendrick is absolutely the Nas, and Drake is the Jay. I'm saying Drake is Jay's low-key best protege like ever. Like I feel like the side of Jay, not the side that everybody remembers from Reasonable Doubt and shit. I'm talking about Black Album Jay. You know what I mean? I'm talking about I can talk about opulence in a way that makes you feel like you not only want to have what I have, you probably never can get this far. You know what I mean? He does that. He got the clever bars of like flexing.
Because he ain't close to him. Jay's a lot like Bill Belichick. Like everybody who was close to Bill Belichick is a terrible fucking coach. Yeah. Everybody who was close to Jay never really popped.
Man,
but if you're like 2 or 3 degrees separated, you're good.
He was listening and studying and shit. You know, you can't recreate that in the same room and shit. But I think even Jay saw it. That's why they have little shots thrown at each other and shit. That's how they operate. Jay-Z has been accused often of like being more of a businessman than a friend to a lot of motherfuckers. And, you know, you don't get to that
Jay-Z's
level of success. You know what I mean? Like, you get to that level of success one way, you know, like I've been saying it all weekend. This is how they talk about billionaires. Like, you got here for a reason. And, you know, I feel like that's the tricky thing. Like, we don't know Drake. I don't know Kendrick. I don't know. But it's about what
we don't know these
represent.
niggas. Hey, as a matter of fact, it stands on both sides. You don't know these niggas.
Facts. Like
You don't know that.
you don't know what's in their
I
heads.
just know
Like,
what I hear, and what
right.
I hear is Drake being a fuck nigga. That's all I know.
It's a
And when
lot
I
of
say
little
here, I mean from like music and just like the way he carries himself. Like I've always said this. I've said this for years. Drake makes music for passive aggressive niggas and emotionally abusive people in relationships. It just like Marvin's Room is like that is peak emotional manipulation.
yeah, that's facts. That's fact. That's the type of shit R&B was on all through the 2000s. I don't
Like
know why
it was
everybody was
it
dirty
was
macking like a motherfucker, but y'all were gross, bro. That
peak.
shit gross.
Yeah, yeah, that shit
Yeah,
was nuts.
yeah,
Like you're all children of Joe. Like
bro. Like
we need to
facts.
blame Joe. You're all children of Joe.
That's so accurate. Mario Winans out here suffering because of you
Ki-
niggas. He ain't want to
The
know.
king of Dirty Mac. Well, no, I shouldn't say it. Joe is not the king of Dirty Mac, and Bobby Womack is the king of Dirty Mac.
There you go.
You're
That's
all
facts.
grandchildren of Bobby Womack.
That's facts.
That's the grimiest nigga in the history of music,
Yep. I'm gonna
easily.
be real, man. Look, as much shit as people might talk about Chris Brown and all the controversy with him, he got the Dirty Mac and like crown right now. Like you got this a whole culture right now. You got people that's living off of that shit. You got
That that whole situation is very weird to me. Like, which one of us beats women the best? You both sound like
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
idiots.
I don't want
Fuck
to.
both of them niggas.
I didn't want
Let's
to
move
make
on.
that sound like a shout out. Yeah, let me make sure I be, you know what I'm saying.
No.
But yeah, nah, for this situation. So Euphoria. Let's go back to Euphoria because we talked a little bit about wanting to do East Track. That was the straight up like swing back. You know what I mean? That was just I'm gonna tell you what I don't fuck with about you. Like the part everybody hones in on is like I hate the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you dress, all that
Dress.
shit. Like
I hate the way
that's
you say
all,
nigga.
man. Like
It might just be me, but some shit ain't even that deep. It's just cringeworthy as fuck.
yeah, but a
Like
buck.
the best thing about Euphoria is that we know Kendrick is dead fucking serious. But he's being funny as fuck while he's being dead. It's like
Yeah.
watching fucking Airplane and watching Leslie Nielsen just deadpan everything, but you know it's supposed to be funny. Like that shit is hilarious. When you was Sexy Red, I believe you see two bad bitches. That's the funniest
Bro.
fucking shit.
Like,
Like
why would
he's
you say that to
legitimately
him, man?
clowning him,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's
Like,
dead serious about
only thing I hear in my head all week has been what is the braids? I can't stop hearing that fucking line in my
it.
head. Like,
Right.
that
It's the
shit
way he
was
says the
so.
shit.
Yes, that was the turn up moment of the song. He reminded me of Eminem for some reason when he said that shit. But,
Yeah, like the little shout he be doing
yeah,
randomly. And so
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I heard
amazing.
that shit too.
Just the cadence is crazy. Like people are gonna have their controversial thoughts about the way the jump starts calmly, but I think every time you go back and listen
That was the
to it,
best part.
I was about to say every time when you first heard it, a lot of people were like, "Please don't approach this," and because nobody knew how a Kendrick Lamar straight up diss song was going to sound. Like this is a straight up song dedicated to fuck this guy. Like you know what I mean? We don't get that often from Kendrick. We was not sure his approach, and he's a weird dude. You can keep it a buck about Drake, you keep it a buck
Yeah,
about Kendrick. Nigga's weird as fuck.
yeah.
That's my nigga. But like, yeah,
He's the artsy kid in the class. You know,
exactly. But every time you go back and listen after that first listen, it's like chilling. It's like such a fucking dope build up.
it was and that's how I felt like when I first started listening. The first time I heard it, I'm like, yo, you starting
Mm,
this off like the momentum ain't there. And
yeah,
he turned up so much in that like last 2/3 of it that by the time you came back for that second listen, you were like, oh, okay, I get it,
yeah,
I
yeah.
get it.
This is all just, and even if when he first starts rapping, he's still building up with the like, the have you ever played, have you ever all that shit. He's not even really,
Man,
until he starts switching up his delivery, then yeah, he's going in. Like that joint was a very well-rounded diss song. And I think we're gonna be talking about it for a long time.
it's like because it broke a record. It was like what the most streamed day one day song, like
Yeah,
9.2 billion or some crazy shit like that,
it
or
is
9.2
incredible.
million. Like it's a 6 minute diss track for all
Yeah,
the people with cooked ass attention spans talking about y'all listen to that multiple times. Somebody is. 'Cause I told
facts.
he dropped that shit at 11:30 in the morning. I didn't stop listening to it till 6 at night. I was at work. I was just that's it. I was
Yeah,
rewinding on YouTube over and over again until somebody said it's on streaming. Bet let's go to Apple Music, and I
and
just ran that shit the rest of the day.
I'm not gonna hold you. I didn't even realize that he put it on streaming because I thought this was gonna be a moment of like, I'm not even doing this for DSPs and all that shit. Like, just because that's why I want to talk about 616 in LA, you know what I mean? Because that being coming out on Instagram, like you said, very calculated move. Like I'm gonna hit you where it hurts, where you live at.
Yeah, you
And
don't have to see this shit.
man, the fact that was the one where Euphoria was a gut check. That was the one where he cut deep, like you know what I'm saying. You got moles in your circle. Think about the fact that Push Ups leaked. Like this song leaked before it was ready. This was a rough version with worse delivery and lines that got changed later.
Yeah,
You know that
the beat
that's
was different, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it had the like the get money
I
beat.
yeah, I didn't fuck with the beat. At least the way he was rapping on it, I ain't fuck with it.
Yeah, a whole different vibe. Like it wouldn't have hit as hard. And I feel like that was like his own like reference track, so to speak.
Yeah,
Which is
you know the
crazy. Like
wild shit is it like because Drake has been rapping about how he feels like
mm,
paranoid and stuff like that.
yep, yep,
And the
which
thing that cut the most about 616 in Brooklyn is Kendrick's confirming that. So it's like, are you more now at this point when you hear that song, are you more mad at Kendrick or are you looking around at the motherfuckers around you and going,
facts.
yo, who the fuck can I trust right now? Because right
Facts.
now, the only motherfucker I can trust is the motherfucker that hates my guts.
Yeah, like you have no idea what like that's the I was just listening to someone else saying the thing about beef is that you don't know what the other person knows. Like you have no idea where they might go with that shit. Like there's so much shit. Like and both people are alluding to I know more. Don't make me throw anything out at you, but it could get real ugly out here real fast. I just
I'm, I'll
I'm
be
here
honest
for
with
it.
you, man. I heard both them tracks, and my takeaway from that was, yo, Drake, leave that man alone.
Probably yeah, but
Leave
can you?
that man. But here's the thing, though. If this was the 90s, no.
Right.
No. You either got to come back and y'all just got to go at it forever like Batman and Joker, or somebody got to die. Like those are the only two options in that, you know,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that world. But
Which is why I'm
now,
glad we're not there.
yeah. But now like Drake's fan base is solidified. Like the stands are not going to sit there and go, "Oh, he got ate up." No, they're gonna
Yeah,
keep making excuses. They're gonna keep listening to his music. He's not like his career is not going to change from this. The only thing
no,
that's going to change, and Bomani Jones said this, and it was the best way to somebody's put like the Jay-Z and Nas beef was that Takeover was for the world. Ether was for an audience of one. That was for Jay, which is why Jay was on the fucking radio crying after that. It's the same thing here. Like what Kendrick is doing is not for really anybody other than Drake. So his fans don't matter. He wants to hit Drake in his fucking chest.
yeah,
As
that's the
long as
difference.
Drake is affected by it, that's all that matters. He's not trying to end his career.
That's the major difference, really, in like even the shit that they saying on the tracks. Like, Drake is hitting at your contract, you know what I mean, your height, your shoe size, and things like that. Kendrick is hitting at your character, just like how Pusha T was. Like these
Yeah.
people hitting at your character, the shit that you do, the way that you move, like. The line in the second song where he's like, "Fake bully, I hate bullies. You must be a terrible person." Like,
Dog, how is that simple ass line is a bar? You must be a
yeah,
terrible person. Like, because again, everybody, it was saying everybody in your circle is saying you deserve it.
right, right.
Nigga.
Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, and the thing is, I went back and listened to a little while ago, listened to Pusha T talking about his beef with Drake on Breakfast Club after the Adonai had already dropped and whatnot, and they were asking him, "Would you ever like everything's done, smoke's cleared, the world says you won, it's over. Would you ever go, shake hand, make peace, whatever, whatever?" He was like, "Nah, I'm good. I won't want no song. I won't want to do nothing." And he was like, because things have happened since that he won't speak on and whatnot, you know what I mean? But they lead him to not want to do that. And that's like it raises my eyebrow. Again, I don't know Drake. I don't know how Drake moves. There's people that love Drake. Like I respect
Yeah.
Cole a great deal. Cole clearly is very cool with Drake. They have a lot of mutual respect. But stuff like that makes me wonder, like, what's going on out here in this
Yeah.
game? Like
But see,
as
the
a
other thing is that
yeah,
to this point, Drake appears to be one of those people that's cool with you till he's not.
right, right. Like that's right. He was buying Pharrell jewelry and then he was dissing Pharrell to get back at Pusha T. You know what I mean? Like I mean, before that he was buying he bought Pusha T's microphone. Like he owns
Yeah, right.
merch from these niggas. Like and that also brings me to the weekend. Like I literally thought they had
I
a very
still
they
thrown
had
off
a
by that.
it was crazy because they came together very publicly. Drake, signed the weekend, tried to join the OVO XO shit. That was the best era of Drake's music for real. And then they very publicly split, like, and it was beef. You know what I mean? There was shots thrown and all that stuff. And then they came back together. Drake was in one of the Weeknd's videos. Drake shouted him out on the song. Now all of a sudden, Weeknd is dissing this nigga with everybody else. What, what's going on? One of these niggas is a problematic motherfucker. Like, one of these is causing problems over and over. Like, this shit is a contentious love-hate relationship. And I mean, I don't know,
The
man.
thing is, and then you start looking at it, it's like your grandma say, like, yo, if everybody hates you, you might be the problem.
Yeah, man, that pattern of behavior shit. I'm just trying to give
Yeah,
context to
you
why
gotta get,
people.
you gotta like try to give some grace on one side, try to figure like, hey, maybe there's some other shit because
Right,
just because everybody don't fuck with you, don't mean you a fuck nigga sometimes.
right. It's just some
Nine
people
times out of
just.
10, it's probably the case, but
Yeah, I mean, like if everybody, like if
everybody, dog,
and you
everybody.
ain't this. We at the point with Drake with all these niggas dissing him, like the ASAP Rocky, The Weeknd, Future, Metro Boomin, Kendrick Lamar. You know what I mean? Rick Ross. Like that's a crazy list of some of the biggest rappers and artists in the game.
And
We're
notice
at the
everybody's
point.
getting out the way now.
I was about to say we're at the point where someone unrelated could jump in. Niggas is dissing J. Cole for apologizing, but nobody's
Bruh.
jumping in and being like, "Yo, I got Drake, fuck out of here!" Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not calling out Cole again because
But see,
again, that's
that's
his
the
other
thing.
mess. Like, that's his mess.
That's the thing about all of this is that everybody jumped out the woodwork to diss this nigga, and not one person has come out and go, "Hey man, y'all gotta chill."
Like, no confidence.
That
I mean, you
says
could.
something.
The only people I see is like media. I feel like people like Gilly and like Cam and Mace and shit who kind of downplay Kendrick's diss. That's probably tied into that because like objectively, Kendrick diss was a great diss record. Like you talked about a lot of shit
Yeah,
that you got issues with. Like just like I would say objectively, Drake dropped a good diss record. Like you know what I mean. Like Push Ups was solid and it hit. Like it was a blow to that Kendrick needed. He couldn't ignore that. Like Kendrick couldn't ignore that shit. So
well,
yeah,
he couldn't ignore it from the standpoint of you asked for this.
yeah, yeah. But
Like
even if
that was the
like
thing. You asked for
yeah,
it.
you did. You called him out, and then he responded. Like if Drake response here is not like if it's still on that same level of push-ups, like you're not really hitting hard, Kendrick could ignore that, and like we would probably say Kendrick won. Like you know what I mean. So I respect the escalation of shit so far, even Drake's
Yeah,
side of that.
it's work.
But
Yeah, it's moving up right.
we gotta admit that these two diss tracks hit home in a major way.
Man,
So like
man.
shout out Kendrick.
I do want to go back to J. Cole for just a second.
Okay.
Um, because as I've said before, my issue with J. Cole is not that he apologized. My issue is that he allowed other people to pressure him into doing some shit he didn't want to do.
Yeah,
As
and
a, as a
and yeah,
because I totally respect and understand. Like, yo, that's my boy. I don't need to do this. I know this isn't about me,
right.
but
But from my perspective, your boy is the one who's like, "Hey, fuck what you talking about on me. Like, fuck you too."
yeah,
9 times
because
out of
like
10.
it's like like that part of it I looked at like competition. It's like,
Which I get,
Jordan and Barkley. Like
and
them
that's
niggas
how
was
I looked at
homies.
the response. Like you plan against him then, like that. But I think he realized that it wasn't just competition. It was about to
See,
be some,
and
yeah,
that's the thing. Like for his response and for him to say, I let other people get like that was the thing that bothered me. Because
yeah, yeah.
you knew in your soul you ain't want to do it.
And I think
Like stand on that.
we got a lot of people. I feel like we giving a lot of smoke to this nigga for not for a public. Like he's not a motherfucker on the block. This is a motherfucker with a
This is
fan
a
base.
regular,
He
yeah,
has
it's
a
a regular
this
ass dude.
nigga.
Yeah.
He has a fucking festival. Like you know what I mean. This
Yeah.
nigga is he got a people that looking at him to do something for. Like you're not trying to impress the niggas at school. You're trying to impress the niggas that help you eat. Like so to get smacked like that and not respond. And then as a nigga who raps and who talks they shit. I legit think he had to respond. Like I think he had
And
to say something.
I would have been fine with that if he wasn't talking about I had 2,000 text messages talking about let's go to war. But I'm
He
like,
just was too
like I said,
honest.
it would maybe yeah, because that's his thing. Like he's a very honest dude.
Yeah, yeah. I think he
Um,
gets punished for it a lot. And I don't want to harp on
but
this, you know what I mean? But
you talking about a motherfucker that saw the hurricane coming
yeah,
and got out of town
Yeah.
before it hit.
Yeah.
That nigga deserves all his fucking flowers.
Like, bro was like, nah, I'm not
He
that heated
he
on
looked
either
up and
side.
he saw the sky turn gray. He was like, nah,
Facts.
this
And
ain't it. I
even
don't need to be
still
here.
on Euphoria, my man Kendrick has a couple of lines where he was
He's
like,
still yeah.
he honestly was like, I mean, with the real friends line, like he was saying, like, look, they know I'm really trying to be that nigga. They know I'm coming for your head if you're not really fucking me. And I think the real friends shit, like, I pray that they really the homies, is telling you clearly, oh, it's like the
Yeah,
homie,
he's
like,
like they clearly fuck with each other.
yeah, that means that. But like there is the way that the song ended, which I believe whoever fucking with him, fuck y'all niggas. Like that's really the vibes. Like this man don't trust this nigga.
He don't fuck with him. Yeah, like
Yeah, it is what it
I
is.
get it. Like I get that. But yeah,
Yeah,
man, Cole, I give Cole all the credit in the world for seeing what was coming
yeah. If we were
and
just
packing his
throwing a
truck
little
up and be like,
jazz,
nah, dog, I'm I'm going up to fucking Michigan.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
people's about to get
staying down
involved in
here.
some crazy shit. We did not need that shit, bro. We did not need
Oh, it
that.
it like all of that is funny as fucking hindsight. Like, J. Cole's role in this is hilarious in hindsight
It
because he
is.
really did just look up and go, oh, he means this shit.
Yeah, yeah, it's not just friendly jabs and
We
like
it's
competition over
it's
this big
friendly
piece shit.
between you and me, but the other
Right.
motherfucker is okay. No.
It's,
No, I'm good.
imagine
I'm good.
imagine having a sparring match in the middle of a bloodbath. Like, nah, that's not you know what I mean? That ain't how this works, bro.
Nigga, there are cannonballs flying over
You
here.
feel
Dog, I
me?
was just trying to get some work in.
Yeah, fuck all of that. We stepping back. But
But yeah,
this is
that's man, that's 616 shit, man.
yeah.
That I mean,
The,
the
like I said,
systematic like breakdown
man,
of
listen. Like I said to
everything
you
around Drake.
if like I said to you in that text, bro, this nigga said he moves at the circadian rhythm of shooting stars. I don't know that Drake has bars for that. Like, I don't know that you rapping at this tier, bro. Like, and I think he's a good rapper, but that shit was like Kendrick is right.
I hope one of them other niggas is because he gonna need it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you need you a Lupe in the back tuck. You know what I mean? But um, that's the other thing about these two artists and what they like tend to come to represent to people. Like Kendrick brags about family. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm tucking my kids in the seat, my wife waiting on the couch type vibes. Like, you know, he will talk about the yachts and the shit, you know, da da da. But you can tell that the idea there is you can't really hit me because I'm at peace, like connected
Yeah.
with God. You know what I mean? Like, this it's hard to challenge a motherfucker that's moving like that. Like, that's not he's not competing with you to be
He
I
told
don't
that
know.
nigga, fuck all that lame shit. You like being famous.
Yeah, bro.
Let me tell
Like
you something. That's the most relatable Kendrick Lamar has ever been to me because fuck being famous.
that
Rich,
line right there, yeah.
absolutely. Fuck
Yeah.
being famous though.
Man, that's how I've always. I mean, that's how most of us have always looked at, but not true because some people want to be the hottest motherfucker in the room.
Somebody want to be out in front and all of that
Yep,
shit. I'm trying
yep,
to be Mike Trout.
facts,
$500 million in my pocket in the biggest city on the planet, and you wouldn't know the fuck I was if I walked by you and punched you in the nuts.
big facts. Like that's all I've ever wanted. Andre 3000 is living my dream. Like if I can retire and just wander around playing the flute and just hey, it's Kendall. Oh hey, what's up? You got your
Hey,
flute with you, bro? That's like a fever dream I had one day when I thought I died and went to heaven. Like it's just like that's like my ideal after.
it's the perfect like life as a
Yes,
rich person. Like
yes,
I'm just going to go live. Like
bro.
I can go live.
That's
Dog,
it.
I always go back to the story about Michael Jackson, like in the last 4 months of his life, at the point where he hadn't released an album since 2001, hadn't
Hmm.
released a song since like '05. We're talking about like 2009, March, Aprilish, like May, like just getting
Hmm.
into the summer.
Yeah.
And this motherfucker wanted to just walk around Las Vegas. They had to put him in like motorcycle gear to cover his face and just so he could go and act like a regular person. And the
Yeah.
old lady walked up to him and like, I know who you are. Well, shit.
Yeah, that's insane. Like
Like
that. I mean,
that is a horrible fucking existence. And
it
he
is.
hadn't dropped anything in 8 years.
Yeah, and this is just who you are forever.
Just
Like,
because it's him. Like that's a
yeah,
terrible life to live. And
it
I
is.
do think that there is something there in attacking that for Kendrick. Because Kendrick's
Wait,
basically saying, especially in the beginning of the 616, I have everything you have. But the one thing I got that you don't got is a life
yeah,
and
that
peace.
piece. Yeah,
And you will
it's
never know that because everybody around you is a fucking snake and it turns you into one too.
yeah, yeah.
There's
It's
nothing you can do with that.
it's hard, man, when you built your career around like the success and the fame, and you got it. Like he's at the top of the mountain. Like I
Yeah.
said, that dude
15
Drake
years at the
is
top of the game, man. Like that's not
yeah,
how rap's supposed to go.
yeah. Like my man has a monopoly on this shit. Like he came in with something different and it worked. Whatever you got to say about Drake, like I said, he's Jay-Z's protege in my eyes. His shit worked. He ran this shit, but you made that so integrally tied to who you are that it leaves you vulnerable. Like, you gotta have the life outside. You can't have niggas attacking you for how you bringing up your son. Like that shit's crazy.
Dog.
That
It's
shit's
just like
crazy.
they bullying this nigga into being a dad. But like
Again.
again, my issue again with Drake is like niggas took a shot. He hopped on IG and posted a story. Kendrick
Yep.
took another shot. He hopped on IG posting Denzel clips. Nigga, get in the fucking booth.
Yeah. I mean, I know this
Like,
is what you
that's
do.
not what this is for.
Yeah, it's all like, and I guess in a way, if you don't post your meme, then you've let Kendrick talk his shit out and get you off your pivot. You know what I mean? I
He
guess,
already
but
told that nigga, dog, the memes is not working. Like he's
yeah,
basically telling him, no, rap, nigga, rap.
it's time. It's time to drop that song. Like, don't talk about killing niggas. It didn't hit. Like, it didn't hit.
No, it didn't at all. Because like the meme is it's not. This ain't Meek.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
like Meek was already unserious to a degree at the point that beef happened.
yeah.
He
Facts.
already was. Like I know Dreams and Nightmares was the shit, and obviously as Eagles fans, we have a special connection to that song. Like
Yep,
it
yep.
that's the only Meek song I can say I love, and it's only because of the Super Bowl.
Meek is
But
an
Meek
amazing
was
rapper though. Like, but
he was.
yeah, yeah.
Now he's Robert Kraft's, lackey.
For whatever reason,
But
but
yeah, even
yeah,
then,
he was
Meek Mill wasn't like you wasn't taking Meek serious in a beef. I
right.
just wasn't, not at the time.
Not in that one, anyway.
And Drake memed him to death because he's an unserious dude. And Drake can be funny when he wants to be funny.
Hell yeah,
Like
he
he can
can.
be legitimately funny.
Yeah,
So yeah, you can meme him to death and it was funny and we keep it moving. Like, is that your world tour? Is that your girls tour? Like that's funny.
yeah,
It's disrespectful in a funny way.
exactly. But
Nigga, you are in the water with Jaws right now.
yeah,
Get a
yeah.
harpoon and get to shooting, my dude.
Honestly, like
You trying to beat him
the
with a rubber chicken. This is not what this is right now.
straight up, like we can't do like the AI shit. If that would have felt like if that would have been a landing blow, like, and I've heard people say that Drake wasn't really familiar with AI, like in the
He clearly
controversy
wasn't
around the
because
shit. Like,
it kind of
yeah,
didn't sound
yeah,
like Tupac.
yeah. I mean, he used his own cadence in Tupac's voice, like that shit. It was weird, but. If that had landed, then maybe I understand thinking that was such a disrespectful thing. You trying to you trying to disrespect them off the shit. Like that's usually what works. Like
Yeah.
that's what worked with Tiger. Like you need to act your age and not your girl's age. Again, that was
Another line
hilarious.
that landed. Yes,
That
another
was
line that
fucking
landed. Because
like,
yeah, that's
he
a good
killed
one.
that nigga, and I
That's a
ain't
good
heard
one.
from the nigga since. Like you know what I mean? Like
Nope.
it's been
Because you
crazy.
gotta lay low after that.
Yeah, like it was crazy.
You gotta lay
But
low after that.
so Drake has one beast, but his tactics might have to get a little bit more. Like you got to legitimately talk about this nigga's character. I don't know how you're gonna take down Kendrick's like character the way he's like got us over here speculating
Like you
about
said,
Drake's.
that motherfucker with 100K out. You came back with no receipts. You lost money, buddy. You had nothing.
Man, that shit's crazy. Like,
That,
and I honestly don't even think he was talking about the Pusha T shit. I think he was talking about Drake getting involved in all this street shit. Like, Drake really is talking about like bounties and shit in a lot of
yeah.
his records, and I
Like,
believe it. He's tied into people that I believe that, but I don't think people make a lot of jokes about his people. I ain't gonna get too deep into that side of it because that's like the real, like, are you a shooter? Are you not? That's it's kind of toxic on that side of things, but. Yeah, I want the real to come out. You got to get real sincere. Like
yeah,
give me
just rap.
yourself. Don't talk
Because
about how you gonna get him killed either. Like, I don't hear that.
the thing about Drake is like, dog, you're an actor.
You know
And I
what I
don't
mean?
mean that
Like,
in a derogatory way. What I mean by that is on Taylor Made, you telling me all these accents you've been doing for the last 15 years, you couldn't do a Tupac imitation? Because had you done that, you probably would have landed with it.
yeah. If it sounded like it
Niggas,
was pop,
if it sounded any little bit like Pac and it hit a little bit, it would have landed, except for the fact that you dropped the line in there about you liking young girls.
yeah, that people was like, you can't be rappers your way out of that
And
shit.
there's quite a few lines between Euphoria and 616 is letting the motherfuckers know, like, hey man, I'm holding on to this one, but you need to chill out.
Yeah,
Because
I
ending that
have
shit with the "You Are Not Alone" line, guys, R. Kelly wrote that song.
yeah, I have some conspiracies. I ain't gonna throw any type of allegations on the record in my voice, nigga, because that's some heavy shit to put on someone. But there's some things that people are alleging that they know beyond like the videos we've seen. We'll see if that's all
Very
true.
strange
You know,
fucking videos, by the way.
yeah,
I, I,
those
ju-
are
I just saw one of them. He was at a concert.
yeah,
It looked like it was real early in his career.
that's the famous one, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's the first time I had seen that shit. So I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
that's something
this
that's
is
happened.
not good.
There's been some weird moments, like I mean, I don't know. There's been some weird moments, and that I've all that will put me off artists without question. Like it should put anyone off. So
Yeah,
we're gonna
yeah.
see. I feel like if motherfuckers really think that that's true, though, you should have been stopped working with this man. Like you know what I'm saying, and we should know all of it. Like you
But
need to
but
protect.
look how long it took for niggas to stop working with R. Kelly.
Yeah, that's the toxic, and that's the thing. All of this shit's stupid. Like if we really breaking it down, Kendrick is not infallible. This man got a song telling you he's not your savior, like I said earlier. Um, I don't like some of the, I don't think Kendrick should have threw the Puff line in there. Like we know what's going on,
Yeah, he
Puff.
could have left
Like,
that one alone. Yeah, that was a little weird. Like, don't make me get puffed.
yeah,
No, nigga, no, don't,
yeah, relax,
no. Leave that
relax.
nigga where he at.
And people like to do that to get people talking because like I don't care, I'm gonna do the controversial thing. Okay, bro, but you doing a little
It's
much, but
like the thing with the Puff line is like, yeah, okay, Puff smacked him, but nobody really, nobody cares about that line.
right.
Everything else in that shit hit. You could have left that out.
Mind you, like you said, this is a song for Drake. I know Drake's still probably hurt. You know what I mean? About
Oh no,
like that
he
might
probably.
be, it might be.
And
But
I remember somebody pissing on that nigga at one point. I
that
swear there was
was,
a
I
story
think
about
that
somebody pissing on
happened.
Drake.
Did that happen to Puff or did it happen to Drake? That might have happened.
I
That
thought
might
it
have
happened
happened to
to
Drake.
Drake.
It
I
might
thought
have.
it
It
happened.
might have.
Yeah,
But like,
but
I don't know. It was
but again, like these are
I
things
don't
that
know.
cheers. It's like, but then the other thing about beef is like it don't have to be true.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a
Or
lot of ether
fair.
that ain't true, but
Like let's talk about the fact that J. Cole fought this man, did he, for Kendrick, like on his man's behalf. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like it don't matter. Like, we're not talking playing fair right now. We're not doing
no,
what's
this
real.
is we're
The
past
fact
that
that
point.
that's more evidence that can be used on the other side. We'll see what happens, man. I want to see some responses come out. Like I'm waiting for it. Drake.
This
Drake
nigga
did a
need to
lot
be
of
dropping.
pressure on him.
I hope he dropped something while we were recording this, but
Straight up.
I need him to do something. Fight back, pinch the bitch, do something. Because
Facts.
dog, you are on the ropes right now.
Yeah, it's
Look,
time. So
again, objectively speaking, I want you to drop something so I can hear it and go, okay, you came back.
right,
But right now, buddy, leave that
looking
man
rough.
alone.
It's looking rough. So we recorded this on Friday. We're gonna go ahead and bring it toward a close. But if anything happens, might have to make like
Do an emergency episode.
Yeah. We're gonna
We might
maybe
because we
man
can
of the
get
week.
James in because we missed James on this one.
Yeah, we definitely gotta hit James thoughts on everything. Like we're gonna have
I'll,
to have another off topic
I'll,
joint.
I'll have to go dip off in the bathroom somewhere at my parents' house so we can record.
Yo, so we are back again. I know change of outfits, everything, it's a
Haircut.
slight addition because yeah, a lot's changed. A lot's changed since we started recording this episode. We started recording on Friday. Ironically, I want to say we ended our recording maybe 20, 30 minutes before Drake dropped his response,
Yep.
which was about 40 minutes before Kendrick dropped his response. So we have to jump back in and give our takes because shit has gone down and takes have changed. So I'm gonna preface it by saying I mean, yeah, but nah, like they've become stronger at the very least. They've definitely done that. But to preface this, I'm gonna say we are the last song that's come out has been Not Like Us. I just want to say that because who knows what the fuck might
Yeah,
drop.
something could happen 20 minutes after we get done with this.
Literally, like
We're not
real
doing
talk.
this again. We'll come back to it. We're not doing this
Rare.
again.
Yeah. Like Daylight, the rapper, he said, everybody can clear out, everybody enjoy your weekend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We good for the night. So, but let me just give a quick recap of all the events so that we can kind of give our reaction. So I'm not gonna start out like that. We already know, that song kicked things off. Drake responded with the push-ups jump. Euphoria dropped, which was actually what we came together to talk about. Because if you remember, that was Tuesday. Like that shit just happened, and it's legitimately old news. I still think Euphoria is fucking incredible. Like I think that's the direct diss song. Let me break down everything I don't fuck with. Like I'm gonna go thing by thing. So I feel like the conversation's moved on, but I want to give a shout out to Euphoria.
Less than a week ago. And
Yeah,
it feels
yeah.
like 6 months.
It literally does. Like it's insane. After that, let that sit for a little minute. The next morning, 6:16 in LA drops at 6:16 Cali time, which was a very calculated move. So in that song, because this is why I want to recap, because a lot of stuff's been talked about. Uh, in that song, Kendrick is accusing OVO of having moles. He's talking about he got information, some of them working for him. Everybody hates Drake in there. They're saying he deserves this. Um, which everybody's like, wow, that's wild claims. But and I'm not gonna touch on some of this because shit's getting kind of dark. I don't wanna, get crazy with it. But Drake later responds later that night with what's the song name? I've forgotten now. That's kind
This is
of
Family Matters.
Family Matters. That's the name. That's the
Now,
sad thing about
this
this shit.
this is the point where our previous recording, which you guys still will see, this is where we stopped. We did not
Yeah,
know about family. We both said we expected some shit to drop that night, but we didn't think it was gonna happen that soon. Like we
right,
got
exactly.
done recording, we talked for another 15 minutes, and then like 15 minutes after that, Drake dropped.
Straight like that. Like, and we could have come back together, but the feeling was in the air that this was not done.
Yeah,
So we stopped recording about 15 minutes before Drake dropped, which makes it about 30 minutes before Kendrick dropped his response directly to Drake's track. Insane shit. We're gonna talk about it. I just want to get everybody caught up first. That's when Meet the Grams came out, which was just
hard.
disturbing. Like
Man.
disturbing. Like that shit was dark. I mean, it was just the feel of it. And then the next morning or the next day, next night, I guess, we get Not Like Us, which is the jam that everybody was complaining about Meet the Grams not being. You know what I mean? Like this man has dropped a Fuck Drake EP. That's what's happened since we speculated about whether he will respond. Like incredible. All right, so now we can get into what are we feeling right now?
All right, so Meet the Grams, because a lot of people like because the whole hype about Family Matters was I can't remember who said it, but they were like, this is gonna be a horror movie. And I'm like, all right. So then it
Yeah.
dropped, and I'm like, first of all, I have to give Drake credit on this. To be told we don't want to hear you say nigga no more, and that be the first thing you do on the next track, and you say that shit with like your whole chest. I gotta give props for that. That's funny as fuck to me.
Drake mastered the pettiness. He's good at that.
That
Like,
that's funny as hell to me. Um, he was rapping on that joint. Like
he
he
has some
really was.
bars.
He was rapping on it. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
there's some shit in there that's clearly a lie, but or unsubstantiated at least.
yeah. And there's things that are worth having a conversation about. But that
Yes.
the way it's been framed right now is that they are lies based on like we. Let me be upfront and say it. The Kendrick accusations about him putting his hands on his life. That's a problematic thing. And if that's true, then there's no cut cards for nobody. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. Nah, that's some fuck shit.
Yeah, but the fact that I wanna wait to respond to this almost because it has to do with Kendrick and his calculated moves. The fact that I feel like he responded to those
And
claims.
we're gonna get right
Yeah,
right
yeah, yeah.
because Kendrick told niggas before Family Matters drop, I know
Right.
what you're going to do.
You're gonna
I know
lie
what you're going to say. You're going to lie about me and my family.
because you heard the album. I mean, here's my thinking as far as the accusation. I just want to get this out the way because we do got to talk about it. I'm not making no excuses for nobody. Like I said, if it's true, if the allegations come out, the reason that people are doubting it is because this is out of nowhere. Like we've never heard this really. I think there was a story like 10 years ago, 2014, that got dropped, that turned out to not be true or whatever, as
It
far as
was
I know.
it was sourced from some Nigerian scammer website. Yeah,
Okay,
it
yeah,
was.
yeah, one of
Yeah,
those type of, and
yeah.
frankly, that could be what Drake is tying back to, or it could be he has some information, whatever. But from my perspective, Whitney, his Kendrick's wife, was on Kendrick's last album. Kendrick's last album was about vulnerability, and they directly addressed their relationship. We Cry Together was an easy opportunity to address this shit if that had happened, or never put that song out if it had happened. One of the two. Like I think one of the two is going to happen. Like that's
Because
just
all
my
that shit
logic.
was a shouting match.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not going. And then that shit can turn real ugly real fast. Like I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's out of nowhere, but again, that could be the reason that that's an easy shot. I'm not again saying that it's true or not because we can't prove none of what's happening out here. That's why we still giving Drake props for his diss track because if his accusations are true, yeah, you know what I mean. Like it's we don't got nothing to talk about. So yeah, I
Now,
just wanted to put that out.
the problem with that this existing is because first of all, Rocky got the worst of that.
Yeah, that was
Rocky
that
got the
was.
worst of that.
Although I don't think he can lose. You know
He
what I
can't.
mean? Like,
No, he cannot. He
like
cannot.
it's just what it
No,
is.
he can't. That
Yeah,
man's winning.
yeah.
But Rocky did get the worst of that. Kendrick did not get the worst. My issue is that at this point, nobody else is rapping to Drake but Kendrick. Why are you addressing anyone else?
Yeah, this was not the time for. I get it. And again, like I said
Yeah,
about
I
the last,
understand why, but
and like I said about the last one, like it's impressive to be able to go topic to topic to topic like that. Like I ain't gonna say nothing about it. Look, we're gonna stop dancing around the alligator. This is the time to stop dancing around Drake alligators. He has a writers team, so the writers team did an impressive job. But Drake, he's also a rapper. He's a guy who loves rap. To some degree, like you said when we recorded previously, he wants to be a rap guy. So he got a pen to some degree. I just don't know, what level of
it's
that
hard to
is.
it's hard to
Yeah,
tell where his pen ends and somebody else's begins or vice versa.
right. But
Um,
he was rapping on this, right? We
yeah,
just know that.
he was. The issue was is that even with the shit he said about Kendrick stepped all over that shit 15, 20 minutes later with one of the darkest tracks I've ever heard in my fucking life. It
Yeah.
like I didn't know Kendrick had that in his bag.
I don't know if anyone did. And that's what I'm hearing a lot of people say. Like, we've never heard that particular side. And I don't know that we've heard Kendrick as West Coast as we did on the next song. Not to jump away from Meet the Grams. But like, but Meet the Grams was a system. This is the thing that people don't get about that song. We're hearing a lot of conversations about replay value and like, oh, I want the song to be listenable. Is that a crime? That sort of vibe. Um, and it's not. You can want that, but this is not
This
about
is
that.
not what this is for.
Y'all have forgotten what this shit that we doing is. Like rap is not just singles and pop and fucking like getting y'all to dance and shit like that. First off, some people do bump these songs, like like hardcore style rap. Like, I
Oh,
played this song
I
a few
listened to
times.
Meet the Grams at least 70 times.
You know what I mean? That song is crazy. Like it's the ominous vibe appeals to. It's not just you.
Just for the pure disrespect.
Right. That's the other thing. That was a character assassination attempt. Like that song was a diss, right? Like that wasn't like a throwing shots on the song that people gonna be playing out their cars. That was like damning. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there was another child accusation. Who knows where that's going? But it happened. Like that's something that happened. And again, like I talked
Which
about all
which
this
may or may not
evidence.
be true. But
Yeah, we can't say that that's necessarily true. We saying that it's older than, and Drake has come out and said like if it's true, out he contacted academics who has become the face of this shit. And
God.
which is just such the clear
I
sign of the
hate that
times.
so much only because I came up on the IC. That nigga was on the IC with us. He was
Man,
a lame ass nigga then. He a lame ass nigga now.
that's all I needed to hear, just because it's always seemed like a gimmick. Like I'm like, at a certain point, I have to respect the WWE of your character. Like you are not letting up, but I think it's who that nigga is. Like it is what
It
it is.
is.
But yeah, yeah. So academics is who he is. But Drake apparently offered to work for him if anybody could find this 11-year-old girl. We're gonna see if that happens. I feel like this being a case that happened before all the Adonis stuff, it's gonna be a lot harder for that to be proven. Because that's apparently been buried for a lot longer. But that's a pretty huge accusation.
So here's the thing: that particular accusation does not matter. Um, because it's already happened once. Like this, if you could kind of assume with the lifestyle that he lived and his level of fame, if it happened once, it may have happened a couple other times. Still a fuck nigga if that's the case, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. The problem, and this is the problem on Drake's side with Meet the Grams, is his initial reaction to Meet the Grams was to get on Instagram and go, haha, daughter, you should find her. Like, man, you should address that other shit Kendrick said
Right.
about you.
That's why I started with the daughter
what
thing, because the real meat of it is what comes up next on the next song as well. And it's kind of hilarious. Like, this man is accusing Drake of being like a sexual deviant, basically. Like, I feel like on Meet the Grams, it was more so deviancy, and like now it's become full blown like you're a pedophile, that type of vibe.
yeah,
And
you ain't all your homies.
yeah. And I said it on the previous recording. I'm not sure if we'll leave that on. I might chop a lot of that off because it was outdated by now. But I said then, there's people in the camp that have charges. Like, we heard about the Baca stuff back in the day. Like, and I was always like, that is. I had the same reaction as Kendrick on the next song, which is not like us, which is Baca got away here charged. Why is he around? Like, what
Why?
the
Yeah,
fuck?
why are you
Yeah,
each other?
why this dude got a sexual trafficking charge? Like, that's very strange. There's a lot of stuff just trickling down, like a lot of little videos, articles, posts, situated song lyrics that lead credence to what's being said. And that's why the Drake allegations are hitting different. Like, and then it's
Yeah,
the fact that your whole persona is this womanizing ladies man. It's either womanizing ladies man or it's petty calculating businessman. So when you're being accused of being those two things to a fault, like, you know,
yeah. I mean, that you gotta hold that shit. Like,
yeah,
it is what it is, and I get like why people are saying things like, well, why do you guys believe one guy and not the other? I understand why you would say that, but logically speaking, one of these people has a documented history of lying. The other does
yeah,
not, to
right.
our knowledge.
Yeah, and on that note, I want to get to not like this, but that brings me to Metro Boomin actually coming with the email stating that he did try to get like that from getting radio play. Maybe it was his team or whatever, but
Which
somebody
is
tried to,
wild
yeah,
because there were no real there was nothing there in like that to be offended by. That
really,
was that was the point where Kendrick was like, "Hey, I'm trying to compete,"
right. It was just
like,
rap. It really was. Like,
and it got deeper than rap really fucking
yep.
fast.
But like
Like that feels like it was last year.
it really does, which is crazy. Like it feels like that's something that happened a while ago that we finally addressed. But no, this was like a month ago, and um. It is crazy to see how like with not like us because we should talk about this because this was actually the kill blow to me.
Oh yeah,
Meet the Grams was the damning one, but like not it was divisive, it was dark, not everybody was feeling that. Not like us is being played in parties. That's a jam. That's the song of the summer
no
at this point.
pool
Like,
parties. It's it. I just retweeted some shit, dude. And there's a DJ in Atlanta playing it, and they cut the music out and screamed out "certified pedophile" over the shit. Dog,
you got people jamming and screaming pedophile allegations about you in the
freaky ass
club.
nigga, he's 69 God
Bro,
screaming this shit.
we're really
Nothing
that's
but
half.
quotables.
Dog. Shortly after, Drake turned off his Instagram comments, which a lot of people consider like the concession, you know.
Look, look,
Um,
just take the L, dog.
yeah, this was calculated destruction of a person's reputation. Like, god
Like,
damn.
I gotta look at it like this. Like, I give Drake props for shooting back.
Right.
Um, Taylor Made was weak as fuck just because of the AI thing,
Yeah,
and
he fucked
it
that
wasn't
up.
a good diss.
And it
Yeah,
should
because
have
that's
been.
the point where he fucked. That's the point in like where he took a big swing with a haymaker and he missed.
Hmm.
But he fired back. Family Matters, like I said, he was rapping on that shit,
Right.
and he didn't go on LeBron's show and stutter and cry like he was talking to his pops. So I got to give him his credit for that.
Right.
But
Right.
I mean, I you know me, I've been waiting for somebody to get this nigga out the paint.
And listen,
And
I haven't.
I'll own up to
Like,
that. I don't have to be impartial. Like, this is the thing that pisses me
yeah.
off about people in this conversation. Well, you should be impartial and fair. Look, I'm not a Kendrick stan. He's one of my favorite rappers, but I don't fucking like Drake, and I'm not about to sit here and try to act like I do to make you happy in your discussion because your man is getting plastered.
And I've had the same discussion with people that do like Drake, and they're like, I'm not finna stop liking this nigga because y'all don't, and I just like I
And I'm
said
with
to
it.
them,
I
I'm like,
understand it.
yeah, it is what it is, but I'm a person that's been a Drake fan. Like I saw this dude coming in the game, like real live. I remember him like doing like the documentary when before Degrassi came or while Degrassi was running, talking about his music and showing like the microphone that he was rapping on. I seen this dude come up, and I remember I understand why people had so much empathy for him. But the moves that are happening, even beyond all the allegations, look at the fact that since this beef started, Drake has used Pharrell, Snoop, and Pop as weapons to spite people. Like, you know what I mean? Like this motherfucker still taunting people with the chains, Pharrell's chains. Pharrell's one, never said a word about Drake as far as we know. B,
I ain't heard
you
none.
he bought the chains. Like you paid money for this. It's not like you
We
snatched
saw
these
the
chains off.
receipts.
Yeah, like bro, on the cover art, which is what I wasn't going to touch on because that shit look a little. It sounded kind of crazy. I don't want to incriminate nobody. I don't know what's up with that cover art, but I'm hearing a lot of things about. But yeah, nah, like you bought these chains. Like you're not flexing with this. You're just being a petty fucking guy. Like that's weird to me. And that type of shit is why people don't trust this nigga. Like, to bring it back to that name of the albums that are about people not trusting you. Like, this is what it is. And that brings me to the last thing I want to touch on, which is Metro Boom. And how somebody was very accurate on Twitter when they said Metro Boomin might actually hate this man worse than Kendrick does. Like,
Oh yeah.
the Twitter tirade is, I mean, first of all,
He just doesn't have a way to actually to express it outside of Twitter.
right,
But
and
yeah.
he does though. That's the thing. He made a Drake a diss beat, and he let the world get their shots in. And they are people are dropping random civilians are dropping
Oh
diss
yeah,
tracks
I
too.
heard one dude shit was fire. I was like, oh wait,
Me too.
niggas
Me
is
too.
niggas is really
Yep, I heard a
getting
dude
to
that
it.
was actually spitting. I heard somebody from Japan rapping. All I understood was Drake and old school, but he was spitting. I heard a singer, bro. Like it's getting crazy out here in these streets. Like this man has. I mean, everybody seems to be coming for your neck. Like something has to have happened. Like I can't, in good conscience, sit here and pretend like, oh, everybody's just a hater. Just this much of a hater. Like you
Dog,
know.
this level of hate don't come out unless you're doing some fuck shit.
Really, really, like it's just facts.
It's like
So
this is different.
this is actually unprecedented. So
Yeah, we ain't never seen nothing like this. I mean, we ain't even getting the fact that like Not Like Us is like a legitimate banger.
yeah, like this is a hit record. This is your lane.
And
Like,
like the content of it is nuts. Like
yeah,
the wild shit is he touched on like the pedophile shit for like the first like quarter of it. The
hmm
rest of it is him just shitting on Drake. Like
yeah. Just you're
it's
not about to disrespect Pac and come to my city. Like we looking for you type of
nigga
vibes.
that nigga said that show in Oakland might be your last stop.
And I mean, I wouldn't go to Oakland
I
if I was Drake. I mean,
I believe it.
yeah, because I mean, you gotta trust that nobody in the city feels like that for real. Like you can say Kendrick bluffing, but bro, is
Yeah,
everybody in that? You know what I mean?
everybody. You think nobody? Look, man.
Yeah,
Like Bernie Mac say, call me a punk.
you know what I mean. Like you gotta play smart, brother. You are not that person. You're not like, and you should. We
You're
shouldn't
not that
want to
guy,
be.
pal. You're not
But
that
shit,
guy.
but don't put the costume on. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
not. It's not worth all that.
you shouldn't want to be, but if you are, you already are. If you ain't, don't try to be.
Facts, and leave that alone. But
Hey, keep it Canadian.
crazy
Keep it
times that
Canadian.
we living through. That's the true takeaway of this beef.
Yeah,
Everyone keep
that's
it
what it comes
Canadian,
down to. Those that
please.
should be just the new phrase for like just be who you are.
Facts, please
Keep it
keep it
Canadian.
Canadian. That's
Just
literally.
keep it.
I need that to catch on because like it's so
We finna make it
succinct,
catch on. It's
straight up,
yeah.
straight up.
Wayne's done a lot of great things with words, but that might be in the top three.
Yo, that's your legacy, bro. That's Drake's legacy, unfortunately. So
And in
you
the
know,
worst possible way.
yeah, yeah. But had to get this little update in there, man. We'll add this into the episode, but we'll be back to discuss if anything else happens on it later. Where we can't keep, you can't keep working us
Yeah,
like
we not finna be update. Yeah, we ain't get
yeah,
paid to do this yet.
we're not reaction YouTubers, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely hit us up and let us know what you guys think of these diss tracks. How y'all feeling? Who's up right now? I mean, I know our take, you know, I know the world's saying this, but if you
It's
feel
a clean
differently, let
sweep
us
over
know
here,
why.
buddy.
Let us know why if you feel differently, man. I would love to have that conversation because I want to hear it. So leave a comment below if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We want to make this content regular and keep you guys eating off of whatever's going on, whether it be games or whatever else. So until next time, man, I'm Kendall. This is Tony. And make sure you keep listening to rap. Take care.